Stages of evolution. My fingernails are chipped and crusted with sandy dirt, muscles tense from digging into the hardened rock at the bottom of my identity. The natural process of time, cementing the past to create a foundation for whatever is next, I fight against it, hunting for scraps of who I used to be. I am desperate for familiarity. So desperate for it that I am willing to sacrifice the pulse of the present moment, wasting precious energy, unearthing what is already dead. Part 1. Variation. When I was in 7th grade, I made the switch from private to public school, swapping Bible classes and True Love Waits assemblies for Darwinism and sex ed. Although my parents were in need of a financial break, they were hesitant to send me into a spiritual war zone and warned me of the types of lies I would be told. They urged me over the screeching whine of the approaching school bus to never forget God's truth. As fate would have it, my first class on that first day at No Jesus Here Middle School was, of course, life science, and our curriculum included a section on the theory of evolution. I came home with a paper covered in foreign illustrations, black and white depictions of monkeys morphing into men. Horrified, my parents told me the public school system could not force me to fill in a worksheet that went against my religion. And to my embarrassment, they made me turn in my homework blank, save for a note to my teacher insisting that he count the work as completed or risk denying a student's right to religious freedom. In the Christian church, we were taught that the earth is only around 6,000 years old, a dramatic contrast to the 4.5 billion years of existence speculated by evolutionists. As a teenager, I prided myself on my ability to catch biblical inaccuracies in science textbooks, drawing an invisible line through the phrase billions of years ago and mentally replacing it with the word thousands over and over as I was instructed to do. The church declared that evolution was simply a theory, and one that we did not subscribe to. For God had created humans exactly as they are, in their current physical state, when He breathed life into Adam in the Garden of Eden. And so it is no wonder why, for the majority of my 20s, I have struggled to embrace the evolution of my own identity. Part 2. Natural selection. One by one, I line my fossilized childhood dreams in a row, propping them up across the rocky ground where I am seated, staring them down as if I might will them into movement like some demented puppet show. I am embarrassed to admit the measures I have taken to try and revive these outdated dreams. Full moon ritual, internet tarot reading, aura cleanse, that psychic in Glendale, all of it useless. What sacred incantation must I chant in order to breathe life back into the person I used to be? Sure, she had her drawbacks, but I knew her. I knew what she craved out of life. The hot scent of a theater spotlight, lipstick smudging on a wireless microphone, applause, applause, applause. I knew the depth of her undoubting trust in the one true God. I knew the durability of her airtight values. No curse words, no secular boyfriends, no sex before marriage. I knew that her worries would manifest as nausea, a quick wave of heat through the stomach, vanishing in 15 minutes or less. Nothing about her was final. Nothing about her was unfixable. And when I look at my life now, its membrane punctured by the stab of late 20s reality, drained of its buttery fantasies, leaking regret, what else could I feel but a towering wave of nostalgia? Salt water rushes up my nose, stinging my eyes. I am dying to let go and surrender to the pull of that wistful current. Take me back before the broken contracts, the irreversible fuck-ups, the relationships splintered beyond repair. Take me back before my parents turned out to be ordinary people. Before the church turned out to be a man-made building, brick and cement and slabs of unholy stone. Before the anxiety developed its own consciousness and morphed into grains of air, infiltrating every vulnerable particle of my atmosphere. No Sunday sermon prepared me for this metamorphosis. the rapid shift from knowing myself to not knowing anything at all. Where I once found instructions, charts, directions for use, I now find only fabric. Desires tinted with foreign colors, mature shades of mauve and dusky mahogany. My body is a collection of craft store felt. The wool brushes against my intuition in subtle communication, caressing softly when the words I speak ring true, and becoming scratchy if I slip out of alignment. It offers no answers, only threads of questions that lead me deeper into self-discovery, into its forest of colors, the fronds waving back and forth like rainbow stems of a breathing reef. Part 3. Adaptation. I turn to face the ocean and let its murmurings teach me who I am. In relation to the water, I am whole. I am a thing that the ocean could drown, which means that I am alive. My bones are brittle as a starfish, and yet I take up space, stretching into the abyss and allowing my limbs to reach into unfamiliar air. If I had remained who I was as a child, yes, I would still have the gift of innocence, but I would not have the wisdom required to do something meaningful with it. I would not have developed the traits I needed to survive the winds that blow toward all who choose to create. The lessons that the church fed me kept my stomach full until I was strong enough to venture out and hunt for my own answers. As Mary Oliver so wisely said, I had to go out into the world and see it and hear it and react to it before I knew at all who I was, what I wanted to be. Only through the messiness, chaos, and uncertainty of life have I come to believe that love is the root of all things. It is only a theory, and it may change as the science of my life progresses. It is only a theory, but isn't everything? Hope, despair, joy, who can prove any of it? When I am gone, my sadness will not calcify into a funky-shaped stone. It will leave no project behind for a future archaeologist to dig up and examine. There will be no proof of the sorrow I feel today for the friends I've lost, for the violent state of the world. Though as spectators we may take our guesses, there is never a true answer as to what goes on behind the great curtain of the universe. And I, for one, much prefer the ongoing pursuit of the mysterious in favor of a stagnant, defined life. Moving, flowing, discovering, allowing doubt to evolve into trust. There is a shimmering thrill in the furnace of change, in melting down old fears to forge a new weapon, a daring beacon of silver, to slice up all that is outdated, to cut through the unknown and the unneeded, to cleave a better path.